Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're going to talk about XRP. I'm going to talk about a few other things as well, like where XRP can get a lot of its value from and how we're pushing through the digital age. So straight from the World Bank, COVID accelerated digital transformation. Crypto assets, including stablecoins and DeFi, offer new opportunities. You know, the world started to move very fast after COVID, during COVID even, and the digital age really picked up acceleration. And a lot of people are still missing that. You know, I talk to people about crypto that are invested in crypto, and they're like, yeah, but 2022 and 2023 sucked for crypto. It actually didn't. I was making videos back in 2022 showing people all the big announcements that are happening, how a massive network was forming around crypto. But people kept saying, but look at the price. The price isn't moving. If you could get past that, you will start to realize what you're actually holding. And, you know, look at 2023, the rise of CBDCs. That really picked up all throughout last year. A lot of countries moved into the next stage, from testing to pilot. Soon, a lot of those CBDCs will be going live all around the world. But even Stellar made a lot of progress as well, banking the unbanked. And then they went beyond that and got into humanitarian aid. And all during that time, there was no price movement on any of these ISO cryptocurrencies. But as we continue to push through the digital age, that value is slowly going to start to pour in, and it's going to be a very exciting time. HSBC partners with PayPal for quantum proofing. It's starting to begin already with the quantum computers. Companies are starting to get involved in making things quantum safe. But remember, this was supposed to be decades away. I think we're going to see the rise of quantum computers most likely starting next year and into 2026 with the new financial system. Quantum computers are going to be tied in to the financial system as well. But you know, people always think you have time. Like they're always telling you, you have time to get invested in XRP. There's not going to be any price movement until 2025. Yet we're going to see alt season begin this year. And we're going to start to see utility drive the price of XRP as well. But what about Bitcoin? Where is Bitcoin's role as we push into the digital age? So let's start with the IMF. The IMF states that unbacked crypto assets are digital assets that have no intrinsic value or backing by any underlying asset or commodity. Their value is determined solely by supply and demand, leading to high price volatility. The most prominent example of an unbacked crypto asset is Bitcoin. These are not suitable as official currencies and means of payment and should not be supported by the official sector. So as we're pushing into a new financial system, I think it's going to leave Bitcoin behind. And it's not just the IMF. Probably nothing, right? The DSS is a regime that will allow firms to use developing technology, such as DLT, distributed ledger technology. Out of scope is unbacked cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ether. So when the Bank of England and the ECB, the European Central Bank, and the BIS and the IMF and the World Economic Forum is telling you there's no path forward for Bitcoin, what happens with Bitcoin? I think it's still going to be with us. It's just not going to have the value that you're seeing today. And, you know, people can always sit back and listen to their leaders like Michael Saylor, how he's always telling people, Bitcoin is always going to be with us. By 2035, it's going to be $1 billion per Bitcoin. Or you could look at the reality of what's really happening throughout the world. And I don't hate Bitcoin. I don't like the fact that these people hype it to the levels that they hype it to, because I think a lot of retail investors are going to get trapped in it, meaning that they're buying the top and waiting for the next run. But I think at some point, those runs aren't going to happen the way people think. The money is going to follow, any retail money out there is going to follow institutional money. Institutions are already talking about utility. Russia set a ban on cryptocurrency circulation from the 1st of September. Now, that's not what they're saying. They clarified that the proposed regulations do not aim to prohibit the circulation of cryptocurrencies. Instead, per his statement, the focus is on restricting the organization of crypto exchanges and exchangers outside the experimental legal frameworks established by the government. What I think is going to happen with Russia is they're not going to adopt MiCA regulations, but they're going to adopt regulations that are very similar to MiCA, meaning that Tether will most likely be gone in Russia as well. You know, Tether like to flaunt the fact that they don't need Europe or the United States. The problem is Tether is mistaken on where the future's going, because MiCA is setting the stage for global crypto regulations. And ISO and anything that's regulated is the future. And you could already see that happening in real time. And then there's SWIFT. If SWIFT doesn't get their act together, they may disappear like Kodak in the 1980s. Take a listen.
But it's not true that SWIFT is really used as to... SWIFT never closed the country. So you could think of that, but they're closing sanctioned banks. So they're preventing sanctioned institutions to use the network. Like anybody, like any banks cannot do business, or any corporates cannot do business with a sanctioned entity.
So it's more like you turned off a specific node.
Yes.
You didn't actually turn off, let's say, a geographic cluster.
Yeah, the whole country.
Yep.
So that's important to make a difference. But will CBDC has an impact on SWIFT as it exists today? Yes, it will. That's one of the reasons why I left SWIFT, by the way, because I think that if they don't get their act together, they might be disappearing, a bit like Kodak in the 80s. So yes, they definitely
fighting words there.
So there will be an impact on companies like SWIFT, but also on credit card companies like MasterCard and Visa, and that's why they have a big interest in that technology, because they know that it will have an impact on them.
And they are enabling.
So take notice what he said. He said once CBDCs come, it's going to have a big impact on SWIFT and credit card companies as well. What are the credit card companies doing right now? They're partnering up with Ripple. They want to utilize that RippleNet technology and XRP as well, because that's the future. And these sanctioned countries that SWIFT was used to sanction, those countries are never going back to SWIFT. And that's a fact. And even the guy in the video, he left SWIFT. He knows the future does not look good. So what about XRP? Where is it going to get most of its value from? So there is a nuclear bomb news. This is back in 2022 from the BIS. The Mariana Project investigates the use of AMMs to automate foreign exchange markets and settlement. Now think of the pools, the liquidity pools that are going to be set up all around the world. You know, everybody thought XRP is going to make money. It's going to get value from transactions. And people always said, well, do you know how many transactions it's going to take to move XRP? They were missing the point back then. It's not about the transactions. It's about the XRP that's going to get locked up all around the world inside of these liquidity pools. Because there's going to be tokenization pools. There's going to be cross-border payment pools. There's going to be maybe pools set up by different businesses so that they can transact with each other, you know, through the supply chain. The liquidity pools are going to be set up everywhere, and the demand for XRP is going to rise like never before. That's another way you are going to get to a high-priced XRP. But then there's the tree from BIS as well. Now, you see the central bank money, the APIs, private sector. Now, think about the private sector, all the transactions that happen. And there's going to be liquidity pools tied to this as well. So it makes the bank work faster. You know, remember, it's all about faster, cheaper, and secure. So as you say, it's tied to gaming. It doesn't matter what it is. There's going to be so many transactions happening inside there. And at the same time, that value is going to be getting pulled from liquidity pools. That's how I picture XRP getting to higher numbers. Then beyond that, there's going to be other ways as well. There's going to be so much XRP locked up that we don't even know if 100 billion XRP is enough yet. Cross-border QR payments with India set to begin in Q3. Like I said, the end of this year is going to be so much bigger than the first half of this year. Bank of Thailand is gearing up to launch QR code cross-border payments between Thailand and India by the third quarter. And I think right after that, we're going to go into ISO bringing money into XRP also, and the rest of these ISO cryptocurrencies. It's going to be a very exciting time ahead. U.S. sanctions suppliers in Russia and China over Ukraine war. Once again, the U.S. with their sanctions. Who is going to be listening to these sanctions? Our country is in a massive amount of debt. We are starting to lose relevance all around the world, and that's happening by design. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in another video, because CBDC also brings the end of the US dollar as a world's reserve currency. And again, who's going to listen to sanctions? Our country is falling apart. Extremely alarming, the downfall of the U.S. economy. Dollar Tree closing 600 stores. CVS closing 900. Walgreens 150. Outback Steakhouse 40. UPS is cutting 12,000 jobs this year. Citigroup cutting 20,000 positions as well. eBay, thousands of jobs lost there. Then, beyond the jobs that are lost at eBay, think of the people that make a living off of eBay. A lot of those people are also getting hit with high fees on eBay and leaving eBay for good. There has to be a better option for eBay as we push into the future. Microsoft cutting 1,900. Expedia 1,500, Cisco 4,000, Apple 1,600, Regal Cinemas 429 locations, Kroger's grocery store chain 413 stores, Foot Locker 400 stores, Macy's 150 locations, Walmart already this year has closed 6 of its superstores. And you don't see how the US is losing relevance throughout the rest of the world. You know, I said it before, this country, ever since COVID, we took the wrong path. Let's just put it that way. The wrong path forward, because everything seems to be falling apart. But you know what's picking up? Amazon, online stores. Banks, again, are losing relevance. I just did a video how you could borrow against your XRP. We're already pushing in that direction. Once that starts and everything's going to push towards e-loans. I don't even think we're going to have bank branches in the future. Everything is going to be done online. We are in the digital age. Banks need to accelerate digital transformation and help finance the climate transition. Wow, right in our faces. It is all a big freaking game at this point. But I've been saying this for a while now. We are going towards the climate transition as well. This is where we're going to see the rise of carbon credits and carbon offsets. And that's why I said Ripple already went in that direction. I looked at it as Ripple going after all the money, because that's going to be a multi-trillion-dollar business as well. And, you know, it's another tax on us is what it actually is. But as this accelerates, we are going to get rich at the same time. This is why I'm always telling you, it's so important to hold on to your crypto for dear life. This is it. This is your way out, is crypto. And I cannot stress that enough. But you know, until it all happens, you got to stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.